Before working on any firearm, make sure the magazine is empty and removed. Also make sure the chamber is empty and the firearm is unloaded.
Now we'll begin the reassembly. It's pretty simple. Now, one thing you got to take in effect, where you saw me with the firing pin all the way back, okay, what we're doing is we're lining up this little half notch to the hole for the charging handle and the bolt. So with it all the way back, you can just take your punch and just hold it forward, and then it'll come forward enough where you're able to pull it straight out. All right, so when you lightly lubricate the exterior of the bolt. Make sure the breech face is all clear of debris. You're going to make sure that's all clean. Okay, then you're going to reassemble the bolt. All right, the bolt reassembled. You can do the charging handle. Okay, charging handle drops right in. Firing pin will go all the way forward. Now the charging handle's locked in. Bring the bolt all the way forward. Okay, then once you got these all cleaned off and ready to go, then you can, and lightly lubricated, you can drop this back in, put your spring cap back on, and go ahead and start threading your end cap back on. You make sure everything's moving freely, nothing's dragging. Okay, once you got this step done, then you can reinstall your fire control system. Okay, to do that, it's pretty simple. Just you're gonna drop it in, line up the holes. You don't want to tighten any of them down yet. Just want to kind of get this one started first. All right, then once you got the front one started, you can screw down the back one. Okay, tighten up. Don't over tighten, because this is like a magnesium alloy composite. They break real easy. They could break, so once you got the back tightened down, you can tighten up the front. Again, it doesn't have to be super tight. All right, next step is to install your spring and plunger. All right, so you're going to drop the spring down into to where it goes. What works really good here is, and like I said on the other videos, is put a little dab of grease on the back side of that spring and then drop it down there. That holds the spring and everything, so as you're getting the trigger in and moving it around, it's going to be harder to lose it. Okay. Once you got the sear engaged to the back of the hammer, you can go ahead and start installing your pins. Once you got your trigger pin back in, you can put in your trigger over travel pin. All right, and they're knurled on one side, so all you got to do is just hold, take a non-marring hammer, give them a tap, and they'll go right in. You ain't got to worry about them backing out or anything, guys, because they do have, with them being gnarled and they set down into the stock, they're not going to go anywhere. All right, now before I go put it in, what I normally do is I cock it, make sure everything's working as it should, make sure my safety's working properly. Once I see everything's working right, I can drop it back into the stock. All right, once it's into the stock, then you just go ahead and tighten back down your screw. Now remember, guys, these are 22s. The screws don't have to be over, super tight. You just want to get everything, snug. You can go ahead and check, make sure your trigger guard screws aren't loose. But then again, you don't have to really tighten them up too much. Okay, once you see that everything's tight, go ahead and check again for function. Make sure everything's working as it should. Put the safety on. Yep, everything's working. And that's the disassembly and reassembly of the Model 20P.